Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about two-tier and three-tier architecture and of course the .NET framework. So today we will discuss two-tier and three-tier architecture and how .NET framework. You have used your computer system, you have seen, and you have also used the client server application. The two-tier architecture is like client server applications. In this client server applications, the direct communication takes place between the client and the server. The client is sending requests to the server and the server is responding according to the request of the client. In this two-tier architecture, there is no intermediate between client and the server. I mean to say there are only two things is there. One is the client, another is the server. The server, suppose in the figure you are saying this, the client is there in the form of the monitor. You are saying these are the client, and the server. Let's say here is the server is the database server. So the client is interacting directly to the database, and whatever the query is asking or demanding by the client, the server is responding according to that. So in the two-tier architecture, only two layers are there. You can say one is the front end and another is the back end, or one is the client layer, another is the server layer. No another layer are there in this two-tier architecture. Now the three-tier architecture. And our two-tier architecture in the above figure shows the architecture of two-tier. Here the communication is one-to-one. Let us see the concept of two-tier with real-time application. For example, now we have a need to save the employee detail in database. Suppose we are having the employee and we need to save the details in the database of the employee. So the two-tier architecture is, one is the data tier, or you can say the database tier. Another one is the client application or the client tier. So in client application, the client writes the program. Let's say the client write the program, or in Excel it is writing some data about the employee and saving the record in SQL server, and thereby saving the data in the database. Or you can say that in the SQL it is making the table, in which the table it is writing the employee number, employee name, everything, and just save the data in the SQL server, and thereby saving the data in the database. So this is also say the two-tier architecture. What are the advantages and disadvantages of two-tier architecture? Advantages of two-tier architecture is understanding and maintenance is easier. The maintenance is easy since no more layers are there, so the maintenance is easy. Disadvantage: performance will be reduced when there are more users. See, when there are more users at the client side, the users are demanding or sending more and more requests to the server, and the server will have to responding the each request. Sometimes, since if there are more users, then the performance will be degraded of the server, or you can say more load is on the server, and the server may not be able to respond all the requests at the time, or you can say the response may be delayed, or the performance will be reduced. So the disadvantage of the two-tier architecture is its performance may be degraded when there are more users. As far as less users are there, the performance is okay, but when the users will be high, the performance will be low. So this is the disadvantage of the two-tier architecture. Now three-tier architecture. In the three-tier architecture, we are having three layers. First layer is the front end, second is the middle layer, and third one is the back end layer. Or you can say the client layer. Second layer, which is called the middle layer, we will also say this layer is the business layer. And the third layer, which is called the backend layer, we will also say it's a data layer. So then the client layer, or you can say the front end layer, or front layer, we can say here we design the form using text box, label, etc. I mean to say in the front end, why we are saying front end, because in this front end you are interacting with this. In this front end you can make label, button, text box, or you can say you are designing a form. So this is called the client layer. In the business layer, actually business layer is called the intermediate layer or middle layer, which has the functions for client layer, and it is used to make communication faster between client and the data layer. It provides the business processing logic and the data access. So the business layer provides the business processing logic and the data access. So that is why, you know, it is the business logic is right here. So it will make the accessing much faster than the two-tier layer. In the data layer, it has the database layer. Okay. The three-tier, you can see the pictorial representation of the three-tier architecture. In this pictorial representation, you are seeing one is the client tier, or you can say the front tier where you are writing the form, or you are making labels, text box, button, etc. You are making in the form of form. So that is called the client tier. The client tier interacting with the business tier. Business tier, in the business tier we are writing the business logic, and you know, of course, that business logic accessing the databases. And the third tier is the data tier. So that is you can say the back end. So this three-tier architecture, it is the pictorial representation. Now we'll see the advantages of the three-tier architecture. The advantages of three-tier architecture is they are easy to modify without affecting other modules. This is very important advantages of the three-tier architecture, that you can modify the content without affecting the other modules. Fine. Suppose you want to change some business, you know, you will have to change some business logic, so the client and the server level will not be affected. So in this three-tier architecture, since the business layer is there and they are not directly interacting with the server, so the communication is much faster as compared to the two-tier architecture. As far as performance is considered, the performance will be good in three-tier architecture as compared to two-tier architecture. See, in this three-tier, we are seeing one is front end, another is the back end, and in the middle tier, we are seeing the business layer. It could be the case that there could be multiple business layer may be there, or you can say the middle tier can be more, 3, 4, 5 middle tier. And similarly, as far as we are talking about that only backend server or the database server, there could be different sort of server. So in that case, this three tier will be converted into the n-tier architecture. In the n-tier architecture, you can say there are n number of, you know, business layers, and the servers may be there. So that is why, you know, upgradation of the three tier, you can see as in the example of the n tier architecture. So in the n tier, what happens? In the three tier, we are seeing the front end, middle tier, and the back end is there. In the n tier, front end, and in the middle tier, there could be 4, 5, or you can say the n number of middle tiers may be there, and the servers, of course, and the back end, there need not that only database server may be there, database server will be there, the file server may be there, and the HTML server will be there, or different sort of server, print server may be there. So that can, you know, they can comprising of the different layers. So that is actually the enhancement of the three-tier architectures that is come into the category of the n-tier architecture. Now we will see the .NET framework. The .NET framework is a new and revolutionary platform created by Microsoft for developing applications. It is a platform for application developers. Application developer can develop their applications. It provides the flexibility of the developer to make their programs easily. It is a framework that supports multiple languages and cross-language integrations. What is the meaning of this? The meaning of this, that it is support multiple languages As you know, the .NET support many languages like C++, VB, VC++, JavaScript, and so on. And there is also a facility of cross-language integration, mean to say two language can be integrated with the help of the .NET platform. .NET has also provide one IDE that is called the Integrated Development Environment. Since this IDE integrated development, you can easily make your programs. Framework is a set of utilities, or you can say that building blocks of your application system. .NET Framework provides GUI. .NET is a platform independent, but with the help of mono compilation system. Mono compilation system mean to say it is this languages is converted into the MSIL and then it is run. .NET Framework provides interoperability between languages. Since what is the meaning of the interoperability? Interoperability means they are providing the common type system. As we have studied in languages that different data types are there, but in one language one type of data type are there, in another language another data type are there. So .NET also provide a common type system, mean to say the two language types can be converted in a one common type system, so that this can be understood by the .NET Framework easily. .NET Framework also includes the .NET Common Language Runtime, which is called CLR, which is responsible for maintaining the execution of all applications developed using the .NET library. CLR is very important. The .NET Framework consists primarily of a gigantic library of code, a programming infrastructure created by Microsoft for building, deploying, and running applications and services that use .NET technology, such as desktop application and web services. Cross-language integration, you can use a utility of a language in another language. So it uses class language integration. Mean to say two languages can easily interact with each other with the help of the .NET Framework. That is why it is called the cross-language integration. A programming infrastructure created by Microsoft for building, deploying, and running application and services that use .NET technology such as desktop application and web services. Cross-language integration, you can use a utility of a language in another language. .NET Framework include no restriction on the type of the application that are possible. Since you can have a different type, but they are converted into the one common type. So .NET Framework allows the creation of Windows applications. Here you can include different types of application, whether it is a Windows application, web services, and lot more maybe there. So the .NET, it is not restriction that you can create only Windows application in the .NET or only web application in the .NET. In the .NET, you can create Windows application, web services, and lot more. So the .NET Framework has been designed so that it can be used from any language, including, mind it, C Sharp, C++, Visual Basic, JavaScript, and even older languages such as COBOL. .NET also provides the support for the COBOL also. So these all languages can be designed, or you can write the code or program, you can make the program using these languages in the .NET Framework. We have also seen this in the one lecture number 2, but here we are again seeing this. This is a .NET Framework. So here just I am describing that these are the different languages which are supporting this 3 dots and so on, n number of languages is supporting. Now the common language specification, these languages have their own type, but the .NET is providing their common language specification. And this common language specification here, 3 things are written, that ASP.NET. ASP.NET indicates that you can create web application with the help of the ASP.NET. Windows Form indicate that you can make the Windows program. ADO.NET is providing. With the help of the ADO.NET, you can, make the database programs. Then one is the base class library, and this is the CLR. The CLR, when you compile your program with the help of the compiler of the different languages, the CLR is the language. With this different code, you will convert the program into the MSIL. The MSIL is understood or taken by the common language runtime, and then it is converted MSIL into the machine readable form, or you can say the machine code, which is understood by the operating system, and the result is displayed. So this is now we can see the advantages of the .NET. Advantages of the .NET framework are: number one, consistent programming model. It's a very consistent programming model. It provides direct support for security. It provides security. Sometimes the memory deallocation and resource management is automatically done by the CLR. So that is why it also provides security also there. Simplified development efforts, easy application deployment and maintenance. You can easily deploy your application quickly. You can deploy your application. It is also .NET is a object oriented programming. It also provides the support for the real world programming. It is easy to use and robust caching. It provides a robust caching, and it also provides the support for the assemblies. So that is why assemblies, right, we are seeing uh, executable programs, whether it is a .exe or .dll. So these all are advantages of the .NET technology. And in the next topic, we will discuss this CLR, CTS, assemblies. These things we will discuss in the next topic. So here I will stop. Okay. Thank you very much for patience hearing.